let's have a look at your games. So this is Silver Juno, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is Silver Juno. And you've sent me a bunch of replay codes. So I'll probably have a look at all three of them because I'm going to probably talk for like about an hour, which is a very, very long period of time. I'll probably go for as long as I possibly can because, well, I talk a lot, right? So 7 minutes per game is probably enough for me to really yap on like quite a bit, right? I think we'll start with the Dorado one because it's the longest and it's probably a priority that we want to get through. Although I believe this one is comp, but this one's longer, so we'll probably start with this Dorado game. But starting off with like how we really play Juno, right? Like we sort of need to understand what the character does before we apply this to our own gameplay. And usually, like, I'm usually when I'm coaching, I have a person in the call and I ask them, "What do you think Juno does?" But since you're not here, I will have to explain that to you. So Juno is like a very hyper flexible support where she's sort of like okay in every single situation. She's not really that like insane in terms of a big burst of value. So when we think of like a big burst of value, with other supports, you might think of Kiriko Suzu, Baptiste Lamp, and a grenade. Those add a lot of value to the hero's kit. Juno doesn't really have that. A lot of her kit revolves around consistent pressure, and a lot of the value that we want to get is basically consistent pressure throughout. And there's definitely some nuances with how we use speed ring, how we use glide boost, how we use torpedoes. But the main thing is just plopping ourselves on an angle and filling the gap. So I'll probably explain this a bit more when in the specific replay codes because there'll be more context, and I'll explain what I mean by essentially filling the gap. But Juno is just very flexible, so she can pretty much play anywhere, and she can support her teammates anywhere. So let's see what you do on Juno. So our Zenyatta's here. This is a really, really good start for the position. I wish I was I wish I had the replay code for this because I could specifically like zoom out. But I think this is okay. We can drop down here. This is hard to do without the replay code, but your Zenyatta is to the right. We're over here. The only issue I have right now is the speed ring. Let's replay the speed ring. Do you think we really needed speed ring? What do you think? Pause the video right now and think about what does speed ring exactly do? Right? You better answer this. So stop the video and just like think about what speedrun does. There's a difference between a reactive and a predictive speedrun. So a reactive speedrun is what we're going for, and that means we're tying it directly to action and danger. Do you think our Domina is in danger right now? Do you think she has to move anywhere? Well, no. So does speedrun make sense? Well, no, because we're just predicting that something is going to happen. And because their spawn is just unlocked, that means that the speed ring has no real purpose, right? So the positioning is actually really, really good. I like that we've established a bit of a crossfire and we've angled away from our other support and we're helping down here. The positioning is actually on point, and you're silver and you just started playing. This is a concept like freaking champion players in my games don't understand. This is a great job. This is really, really good. But the speed ring is inherently flawed because it doesn't tie specifically to the function it needs. So let's just think about when we can use speed ring. Let's fast forward a bit and think about when we can use it. These torpedoes are aggressive. This is very, very aggressive. And look at where our tank is. Our Domina is all the way back here, right? And she's still back there, even when we're doing this. But I think this is fine because you're in like low rank lobbies, so no offense, but they're probably not going to shoot you in the head. But the like inherent idea of these torpedoes isn't necessarily bad, so this is good, and I think it's really clever that you've established an off angle. I mean, you've already got off angles down in your silver, so I think you've got a lot of potential. Sure. Yeah, yeah, good, good, good. I really like that you're staying here, like start controlling this high ground position. That's really, really good. Although I'd probably go up and just help out Ash a bit longer. Remember what I said about Juno being able to contribute pretty much anywhere, and your Ash is in more need for help in this specific situation because your Domina's not really under any direct pressure, right? Whereas your Ash might take some shots. So I'd probably go back up there, and we immediately see this because she's critical health. But because you've decided to rotate here, you're not in a position to help her. So a more conservative option, if you do want to rotate down here, is when you rotate, just stand here instead of moving directly forward, because we could have helped our Dominant and we could have helped our Ashe at the exact same time. Yeah, exactly. Our Ashe dies for that. That is your fault, my friend. Even if you want to rotate, you just need to rotate a bit softer, if you know what I mean. So this is poor. This is poor. Don't worry, I'm not going to yell at you too much. I like these torpedoes. This is really, really clever from you. Nice. And you're ducking down to cover after you did the torpedoes. This is really, really good. I mean, you went for an aggressive play, and I mean, your teammates aren't really doing anything, to be fair. I don't really know what your Domino is doing, to be honest. If our Ash was alive right now, this play would be even better, but you decided to let her die, so that's a bit of a mistake from your part. But still, these torpedoes have looked really, really good, mate. So that's definitely been the highlight of your gameplay so far, your torpedoes. Okay, let's replay this. When we get here, do you think that we need to move forward in this specific situation? What range do you think Juno sort of thrives at? Well, it's sort of the medium range, right? So why are we moving forward towards the Sigma? Is there any real benefit of moving towards this way? Well, no, right? Because we're not going to be able to heal our Dominant anymore. We're not going to do any more damage to the Sigma. The only thing that we're exposing ourselves is to more vulnerability. So we just need to back up and get our butts back there because we unironically decide to walk into the Sigma and we die because of it. Now, there's another critique that I wanted to have in this specific situation. The first critique is that you move forward instead of moving back, and you probably should have migrated to cover. But what cooldown do you think you could have used in this specific situation based on what we know about it? Pause this video and think about which cooldown it is. It's speed ring, right? Because we're tying it directly to action, where our Sigma is, well, not our Sigma, our Dominant is in direct threat against the Sigma. So speed ring and get your butt back, because that's going to help you disengage even quicker. So we get the best of both worlds, and we actually help our Dominant. Because if we notice in this like really early situation, when we pop speed ring for no specific reason, it's not letting me play back there. We didn't really do anything, but because our Dominant is in direct danger and she would actually benefit from moving backwards away from the threat, now is the perfect time to speed ring. Sorry. Just coughed. But yeah, there's 30 seconds in and I'm just talking so much. So I'll let the clip play a bit more. Yeah, bit of a mistake on our part. Bit of a mistake. Let's skip forward a bit. Do you think we necessarily needed to fly in the middle of the open, or could we have cancelled our glide boost in order to just stay here? I don't think there was a real reason to use our glide boost here. I mean, it was okay to get to the fight quicker, so I get the purpose of it. But we could have just healed our Sigma at an equal... Sorry, healed our Domino. I always get Domino and Sigma healed up. I guess it's because they're both poke tanks, I suppose. But we could have helped our Domino at an equal rate if we were just by cover and we were here, instead of just migrating to the middle of the open. And we would have got our cooldown earlier, so if we... I mean, they're not really on a dive composition, and they're not going to take off angles, because realistically, this is a silver matchmaking quick play game, so we're not too worried about the enemy team angle maxing. But even, let's just imagine like these were OWCS players, right? They were Champion 1 players. They would be shooting you if you go in the middle of the open, and there's no real benefit to going here, so you would have got the same result just standing here. Yeah, we're just too quick again. We're too tied to like being, we're like too intimate with our Domina, if that makes sense. We're like too directly tied to her, We just need to back up a bit and let's give her a bit of breathing space, when like your relationship, your partner says, "Oh yeah, give me a bit of space," I just need to think through. Oh my god, I actually can't speak right now. I just need to think things through right now. you're not going to go up to them and be like, oh yeah, I'm here, guys, because there's no point. Well, there's no point here either. That was a terrible analogy. I am so sorry. What do I think of this speed ring? I don't think it's bad necessarily. What do we do with the torpedoes though? Because that's what I'm more concerned about. Those torpedoes are okay. I see the vision, I suppose. It's just, it looks a bit clunky, you know. I don't know. I just don't think we should be necessarily on the low ground in this specific situation. Maybe we could have got a better vantage point. I'll show you this in game actually. This might be very useful, or very useful. We will see. Sorry, this is gonna take a minute. You can skip forward, by the way. Dorado. Alright. I'm going to show you how you could have played this specific situation a bit better using Juno's mobility. So we would have stood here, we wouldn't have gone in the middle of the open, like hugging our Domina, like getting a bit creepy with her. No, we would have just been here. And then, to get better vision for torpedoes, we could have used our double jump, used glide boost, and go like this, right? And the vision for torpedoes is absolutely insane in that situation. Because verticality gives really good torpedoes. So if we want to go for torpedoes, generally we don't want to be like here, right? Because the vision's a lot worse and we're going to hit a lot less people. But if we're over here, right, there's just way more people to hit with the torpedoes. Should we have helped our Ash? I'm looking at this right now, and my attention would be immediately placed on the Ash, although you did place your attention towards her at the end of her death. But I'm maybe thinking, where's our Zen? Our Zen's playing here. Remember, a general rule with support is that we want to establish a bit of a crossfire from the other support, so we can sort of invest our resources in different positions on the map, so we can help as many people as possible. I'm wondering though, is your Ash like really under any visible threat? She takes a bit of damage here. I think I would be like a bit more attentive and a bit more like thinking I need to help my Ash and just going like healing her right now because we heal our full HP Zenyatta instead of paying attention to our Ash. If you want to get a bit more extreme on this version, we could have maybe even like thought about rotating left. So we could have used our glide boost and played over here. Because remember, our Zenyatta's here. And with the whole crossfire thing, we generally want to be angled a little bit away from our other support. So something to think about. Oh god, we're going in aggressive. Okay. Do you want to know why Junkrat destroyed you in this 1v1? Let's think about the range of our hero, right? Do you think Junkrat or Juno is better up close? Pause this video and think about that. Is Juno or Junkrat better up close? Well, it's obviously Junkrat, right? Like, Junkrat is probably the most lethal hero in the entire game when it comes to close proximities. He's just absolutely insane. Especially because Juno has 225 health points, and... what was my point? Juno has 225 health points, and Junkrat has this combo where he can one-shot 225 HP targets. Sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. I'm quite tired today. I've got to go to bed soon because my brain's quite fried. I'll show you this in the practice range though. So this bot is 225 HP for reference. Oh wait, no. If you hit him, oh wait, no, the bot is 250 HP. This is you. You're Juno, right? And he one-shots you with that specific combo. So this like applies to like pretty much every hero apart from Widowmaker, I suppose, because Juno just gets bullied by heroes that operate in the close range, and Juno is really, really not favorable in that matchup, man. You just got to back up and sort of think about playing those mid ranges. So in this specific situation, I would not have walked towards the Junkrat mine, right? I would have speed ringed out, get the hell out of here, get the hell out of here. I would have speed ringed my Domina, go out and just like shot him from range, because I actually think you win this if you just use your glide boost to migrate to cover. So we go to the position that we were in earlier. So here, right, we just use our glide boost back up here, and we don't get in his face, right? So bit of a mistake on your part, but it's fine. Nice shots, by the way. Your aim's pretty good for a new player, by the way. It's better than mine, to be honest. What other games have you played? I'm guessing you play. I would say Valorant, but a lot of Valorant players play like Cassidy or Ash. So I don't know. Let me know. Let me know. Message me on Discord. All right, let's skip forward a bit. How long has this call been? Okay, we're 16 minutes in. Sorry, I've been yapping. We're only 1 minute and 52 in, and I've already done 16 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so here, I would have used the double jump, glide boost, and get on top of here. This position is insanely good, and remember what we said about crossfire. We sort of want an angle away from our other support, and this position is insanely good for Juno because I show you in on the map again as well. Sorry, I probably should have had it open. None and what's Dorado? Dorado, where are you? There we go. Okay, so you're here, right? Well, I'll turn this audio down a little bit so you can hear me okay. Okay, that's probably better. We go up here, and suddenly we can heal our teammates from up here, and we also simultaneously control this high ground. And remember what I said about verticality in Juno, where we can also get a bit silly, go up here, and unleash like a torpedo attack on the enemy. Your torpedoes are really, really good. It's just we need to think about the angle and specifically the verticality. So the height. So going for torpedoes down here is significantly worse than going for torpedoes up here because you've got way better vision on the enemies. Torpedo here, boom, boom, boom. We just win the game. We carry. Everyone loves us, you know. So something to think about for sure. Getting a bit more creative with our positions and sort of starting to experiment with our space a bit more and always thinking about verticality and off angles. Yeah, sure. I would like be hugging the corner a bit more. So this is like a minor nitpick, and you probably should have been up on the high ground. But if you're gonna play down here, I would probably just like, even though this position is not particularly risky, I probably still would have migrated to the left a bit more because you still have equal vision for damage and healing, but you're just not gonna be in the middle of the open again. So it's always about like worrying about like hugging corners essentially, and it's like such a basic concept that not many people do. Freaking like grandmaster players just stand in the middle of the open. If you just like practice your cover usage one game and then you're angling the next game and tying your speed ring to action the next game after that. So thinking about one thing per game to improve on, you're going to improve at an insane rate compared to these people. They don't really put any effort into their thinking, like most Overwatch support players. No offense. Do you think we should have used speed ring? Your Domina's full HP, and she's not necessarily like pushing in. I think you used speed ring, but it got blocked by the Maywall, which is actually just unlucky to be honest. Like this isn't your fault. That's just unfortunate. This has been fine from you. It's just the corner thing. But the speed ring, if it actually landed, would have been good. It's just very, very unlucky. So I'm not gonna dock points off you for that. Oh yeah, I like these torpedoes. These are really, really good torpedoes. I mean, imagine if we were up here though, right? Imagine if we were up on the high ground. Imagine what we could have done with torpedoes then. Or like a silly piece of tech you can do with Maywall is you can actually double jump on top of the Maywall. This is like so specific, but you can double jump on top of this because it's technically like a physical thing that you can jump on top of, and then you double jump again, and then you get really high vision for torpedoes. You're like a beginner, so we're not going to worry about that too much. But it's something to remember when you have May in your games. Great torpedoes though, great torpedoes. Your torpedoes have been a highlight. It's just we need to think about tying our angle a bit better, specifically to torpedoes. You know. I've got a blocked nose and my breathing's quite heavy, by the way. So if you hear my heavy breathing, I do apologize. Ooh, I like the speed ring. This speed ring is really, really good. Oh my goodness. I love this for you. Actually, I probably would have used it a bit earlier. As soon as I see the Maywall come out, my voice just broke. I'm so sorry. But as soon as I see the Maywall come out, and this fight has like descended into chaos, I would just immediately pop the speed ring and get your Sigma out, because this guy is in like a hairy situation, right? He doesn't really win this matchup close up against. Wait, I keep on saying your Dominant is in a bad situation. Sorry, your Sigma. Oh my god, I actually keep on getting Dominant and Sigma mixed up. Sorry, but your Dominant is in a bad situation. So she would benefit massively from getting to this corner. And what does speedring help her do? Well, it helps her get to the corner quicker, duh. So we probably should have just popped it a second quicker. Man, as soon as I see this, I'm wanting to help out Sojin as quick as possible. And she's probably gonna die. She's forced to give up all of that aggressive space though. She was doing like such a good holding space, but we weren't up on that high ground position. So we couldn't really help. I know I'm like beating a dead horse pretty much, but it's definitely something to think about. You know, we just need to be a bit more proactive with our angles and a bit more proactive with our verticality specifically. Jump up, jump up, jump up, jump up there, jump up there. No, it's okay. Oh, probably should have healed Zenyatta, but I want to see the angling is what I'm concerned about, so it's fine. Nice. Good job. Gap, 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 gap. Double jump, shift up to the high ground, like this. You're over here. We can just double jump up here, I'm pretty sure. Boom, we're up here. Heal our Sojourn. We're holding so much space. Torpedoes from above. This would have been perfect, you know? I want to move on a bit to see what you do with the ultimate, though. So what do we do with Juno Ultimate? And it's quite a complicated one because I don't know if you played like Marvel Rivals, but it sort of is like a Marvel Rivals in the sense that it's just like a big burst of healing, essentially. It's quite a boring ultimate. It doesn't really do that much. It basically gives you a quick damage boost and healing boost. It doesn't have like this massive burst of value though, instantaneously. So when we think of like a massive burst of value in other support ultimates, we think of Zenyatta's Transcendence or Lucio's B. Those have like a way quicker effect where you get the immediate effects and you can just kill a bunch of people quickly. It's not really the case with Juno Ultimate, and the longer a fight goes on, the more value you get with this ultimate. So I want to see what you do with this ultimate. A big mistake I see like relatively low ranked Juno players do with the ultimate, although I definitely make this mistake a lot too, is using it to basically bail yourself out of a bad situation. right? And that's not really what we want to do. We sort of want to be a bit more proactive with it and aggressive with it. So we're not really using it reactively, we're using it aggressively. Although we are using it reactively based on what the enemies throw at us, but it's not so much a counter ultimate as an aggression ultimate. I think this is fine, honestly. Based on where your Domina is, she can definitely move forward with this ultimate. This is fine. This is fine. Good ultimate by you. Only nitpick I have is let's look at this all again. You would definitely like. I think this is a tendency with you. It's just like move forward syndrome. When you see like a shiny object, I can go for like these aggressive torpedoes, and you just move it in without any real thought about your surroundings, right? And I think we can just be a bit more thoughtful with our positions and being more conscious of our character's range capabilities. Because again, remember against that example with the Junkrat earlier on, at the end of first point, we just got dominated by that Junkrat completely because he has these massive bursts of value up close. We don't really have that. So we just want to chill and play our range a bit more. And we also need to synchronize our pressure with the rest of our team a bit better. So if our domino was really, really far forward, then moving forward would be fine because there'd be some element of a distraction. But because that's not present, I'm present and we're sort of just doing it alone, that it doesn't really make any sense to move forward. We just need it to be a bit further back. So our ultimate would have been further back, and the Domina could have walked with it a bit more. Because if we look at this ultimate, if we notice, it goes a bit too far towards the end. But if it was here, we would have got a bit more value overall. Yeah, you really like going for those aggressive torpedoes. I mean, the torpedo usage has been good. I'll give you that. Double jump up. Oh, you're not double jumping up. Double jump up. Double jump up. I urge you, my friends. I urge you, my friends. This is your responsibility, and you can't heal your sojourn. And you might be thinking internally, "Oh no, my stupid DPS are out of LOS." No, you're the stupid one. I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, not to shout at you in the in your messages, but I'm gonna shout at you a bit because you're probably not like blaming the surgeon. Okay, I'm making stuff up, but still, your surgeon is probably shouting at you internally, and honestly, it's a bit deserved because why is the Juno not there? Why is your Juno just hanging around here and not claiming this space? I mean, your Zenyatta could also claim this position. But the difference between Juno and Zenyatta and why Juno is so good at like filling the gap in any specific situation is because she's so quick. She's not necessarily the best hero in the game when she gets to a given position, but she's basically the best hero at getting out that position quickly. Sort of similar to Lucio. Lucio Pocket is absolutely abysmal, but he can get to so many positions that other supports just simply can't. So you can do that with Juno, but you're not really exploiting that part of your kit. And if you're not using your kit to the fullest capability, then you're not playing Overwatch, my friend. So we just need to be thinking about our angles way, way more and actually helping our DPS on these aggressive side flanks. No. You go to them for healing. Don't tell them to come to you for healing. You go to them. Get up there. Get up there. Rotate up there. Double jump with the payload and yes. Go on. No, you're not coming out. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I'm being mean. What do we think about the speed ring? It's pretty bad, right? Why is the speed ring bad? Pause this video and answer that. Well, based on our earlier definition of a reactive and a predictive speed ring, and the fact that we want a reactive speed ring that is directly tied to action, is your Zenyatta really like getting any action right now? Well, not really. He's charging up his right click, right? There's no threats nearby. Your Zenyatta doesn't need to rotate anywhere. Is there a reason to use the speed ring? Oh my god, my voice just cracked. I'm so sorry. Is there any reason to speed your Zenyatta in this specific situation? I don't think so. I don't understand the reason behind this. And I think it's like the low rank curse. I see this a lot in like low rank games Well, you just press buttons for the sake of pressing them, right? Although your torpedoes have actually been really, really good, and your glide boosts for the most part have been really, really good. It's just your speed ring usage has been a lot worse than your torpedo usage, which actually looked. Your torpedo usage has actually looked like pretty excellent up till this point, but your speed ring isn't, and it's usually that is like usually what happens in low rank. Speed ring is like more of the complicated one, but we just need to be tying it to threats that are directly on our screen instead of just nothingness, right? There's no reason for the speed ring. I mean, we don't even use the speed ring to rotate up here, right? We took an angle. Let's fucking go, man. Let's fucking go. This is really, really good. I love this for you. Let's go. You got there 5 minutes late, but you know what? We got there eventually, so it's worth it. Nice. Good job. Heal this guy. Notice how your surgeon probably isn't flaming you internally, right? She's like, oh, yeah, my Juno is actually based as hell. I love this person, right? What happened here? So I'm going to blow my nose quickly because my nose is blocked, but I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Why were we not helping our surgeon in this 1v1 against the Junkrat? What happens here? I think it's shiny object situation, shiny object syndrome again, where we see like, oh, we can go for the juicy torpedoes. And I'm not saying that torpedoes are necessarily bad in this situation, but I would shoot the torpedoes now and then immediately put your focus back on our Sojourn. And we didn't even shoot the torpedoes. So actually, the torpedoes are bad for once. We just needed to shoot them a bit earlier and then redirect our attention to actually helping our Sojourn on the off angle. Great speed ring. Oh my god, sorry. I mean, this is a really, really good attempt to help your Domina. This is like a bit of an awkward situation because of the chaos of this fight. You weren't really able to put your full attention on the Domina, and you sort of just had to put your focus elsewhere. And I don't think that's necessarily bad because you were doing things, although you messed up the torpedoes partially. But yeah. I think this is a good attempt to save your Domino with the speed ring though. And it could have worked. I think your Domino might be dead though. Yeah, Mail just cooks. Tanks. Wait, you didn't die here? What are they aiming at? What are these lobbies? Oh my goodness. Wait, no, you did die. How did we die here? I thought we got out fine. Okay, so this is an interesting concept that I want to explain to you. If there are two enemies in front of us, do you think we should be putting our attention on torpedoes / aiming at them? Well, no. We should be aiming, sort of evaluating whether we have the upper hand in the duel, and as a consequence of it, sort of adjusting our aim or our movement accordingly. So if you want to win a 1v1 and it's just both of you guys, but the enemy has like a important cooldown, like Echo Stickies, for example, you bait out that cooldown with movement, so you move around erratically. This is like quite a complicated concept, so let me know if this doesn't make sense. But you move around like quite spontaneously, make your movement really, really, really bloody unpredictable. And then I lost my train of thought, sorry. And then when they've used their cooldown, you actually focus on aiming. And because we just want to get out and live, and we're not going to be able to kill these guys, Do you think it makes sense to be locking in on your aim right now? Well, no, right? Because we just need to focus on living. So wouldn't it be better if we did some like strafing? So I'll show you in game. So if I was in this situation, I accidentally used the ult, I would have like not used the torpedoes, and I would have just gone like this. You know, I don't think we need to be aiming for the torpedoes right now because we're not going to get a kill because of it. But we could have lived in this specific situation, and we just stagger ourselves as a direct result of aiming. So actually turn your brain off and don't aim at them, but turn your brain on and move a bit more randomly, if that makes sense. That's fine though, that's fine. On Juno, I really like the left flank, so I'll show you this in game. You alternatively can go here, but maybe that'll be a bit long in your specific situation. I would have, in this situation, used speed ring and just went, I'm going to go up here. And look at this, right? This is absolutely beautiful for Juno. Because this is like a mid-range open space where we get so much value from torpedoes, right? This would have been insane. But we said we sort of turn our brain off and think, oh yeah, we're just going to move directly towards our team without taking an extra second to rotate to a better position where you could have had even more impact. So it's food for thought and something to think about. Do you think we should be moving forward, or do you think we could have used our cover? So the first criticism I have is that your positioning isn't that good, and you should have been over here, right? Well, what if we could have just... We plopped ourselves in this position, so we can't really rotate at this given moment. So instead of moving directly towards our domina, which has no real benefit if you think about it, we can just preserve our own life while helping our domina, because if we preserve our own life, then that means the enemies aren't going to kill us, and that means we can actually heal our domina. Right, so we just play cover here, we use our glide boost, we end up here, we use the right wall, we hug it, and we directly heal them. And as soon as our speed ring goes off cooldown, because of the chaos of this fight, and there's so many people nearby, we'll use our speed ring and basically help our Domina take less damage and kill them, because this is a big burst of value for the Domina, remember? Her ultimate does a bunch of damage, and her having speed makes it so she's more likely to get these kills. It also means that her movement is going to be more unpredictable, and it means she's going to take less damage. It's one of the main reasons why speed is like such an important concept in Overwatch, right? Because taking less damage is just as important as like the rotation part of the rotation utility of speed, right? So this would have been insane. But instead, we could have used speed ring and we could have been all the way back here. I mean, our speed ring actually would have hit. We wouldn't have exposed our life. And I don't even think we used speed ring for a bit. We just forget about it completely. And because we don't use speed ring, that means that we don't secure these kills at all. Alright, this is a massive mistake from you, because you guys realistically could have won this fight. Now we're in the middle of the open. Where's a better position to rotate when we're like here? Where could we go from this specific situation? I think you have like 3 options. Let's imagine I'm you right now. We could go back here. So we just chill all the way back here. Alternatively, we could double jump, glide boost up here. Torpedo, torpedo, torpedo. Or we could do this on the other side. So we go here, torpedoes, boom, 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 boom. Any of these angles are good. But as a general rule of thumb, on Juno, we really don't want to be in the middle of the open. We really don't want to be stacked with the rest of our team. Because we need a bit of open space in order to make our character work, right? We can't really chip damage with our gun if the enemies are right in front of us, because their guns are a lot better than ours. We can't really get these high vantage points for torpedoes because we're too distracted helping everyone else in the middle of there. So use torpedoes here. Maybe you could have used torpedoes here. Maybe you could have used it here. This is high risk, no reward. This is like medium risk, medium reward. This is high risk, high reward. This is like low risk, medium reward. This has no benefits compared to the other angling opportunities that we could have gone with, and we chose the worst one out of all four. So we just need to be a bit more thoughtful in that regard. Always migrate to cover when we are nearing the end of our glide boost, because we have glide boost to escape these sort of dangers, right? We noticed, like, in these games, you've used glide boost because you want to get out of the enemy sight, right? Well, when we don't have glide boost, that means that we don't really have an opportunity to escape a lot of the time. So that means we just need to end towards cover when we use it. Oh no. Are you dead? What was that Junkrat tire? That was the most ridiculous tire of all time. I want to watch Magnus Master beats one more time. He's like, I can kill like the Juno who would definitely die, but instead he goes for your tank, who's full HP. That's unfortunate though. I think it's just, this is more so an extension of your poor angling opportunities earlier. And it's the same concept again. We're just not playing a specific position enough. We're sort of floating in the middle of the open. We don't really go anywhere with this glide boost. We sort of just stand in this situation. And it would actually benefit us to stop healing this Domina for a second and actually reevaluate our positioning opportunities. Do these torpedoes make a lot of sense in this situation? Answer. Do you think these torpedoes make sense based on what we can see? I don't think going for solo torpedoes are necessarily bad all of the time. All we could really see in this situation was our Sigma. Like, our teammates are full HP, so there's no real point in healing them. Do you think solo torpedoing away a tank is necessarily beneficial? I mean, it doesn't really do anything, right? And you would be better off actually just shooting them in the head, right? I don't think solo torpedo is necessarily always a bad thing, especially when the target is a lot more squishy and their movement is a lot more spontaneous. So Tracers, Lucios, Gendrys, for example, I think solo torpedo in that specific situation can make a lot more sense. I wouldn't worry about it too much in a Sigma though. Just shoot your gun, and then preserve your torpedoes for a better situation later on in the fight. Sorry. Nice. How about Zenyatta? Rush, go, help. Or help on Sojourn, alternatively. We did miss all of our shots, but it's okay. It happens. Yeah, good torpedoes, although what I would do in this situation is, I'll show you this in the game. Instead of flying over here and dropping, which puts us at a more high risk for less reward, we actually get more reward if you go here, because you've got a better vantage point for our torpedoes, right? I mean, look at the torpedoes here. If you were there, you could have hit the May, you could have hit the jetpack cat. This would have been like an insane amount of value, but instead you compress your sightlines, so you go here where you can't really see anyone, and you're also exposed to more dangers. Remember with Juno, closer isn't always better. Medium range is really what we're going to strive for. I don't think short range is always bad if that's what the map gives you, and if you're like forced to move in that specific way. But in this situation, it makes no sense to put yourself in more danger. We actually would have got more value if we went to the point with verticality. So verticality is a big point here because you can double jump. Ooh, torpedoes, boom, 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 you know? Yes, you took triple jump. That is the right perk. You already know. You already know. You've been watching my videos, I bet, because I consistently flame people for taking faster, faster. But this is a great choice by you. Good job. Good job. Hmm. I think this angle is bad based on where Zenyatta is. So this is fine. I actually would have just stayed here. Honestly, I don't think you need to do much. Just chill here for a bit and wait for the fight to break out. Because we're actually moving past our Domina, and Domina is a lot better close up compared to Juno, right? We sort of want to be the support to her, not the front line. We don't want our Domina to be investing resources into us. We want to be investing resources into her in turn, which means that she doesn't have to invest resources into us and she actually kills the enemies. I wouldn't pay my attention on these guys though. I would just put it on the Domina and I think about speedrunning her, you know? Because she's getting no support whatsoever. Yeah, there we go, there we go. We can get silly. My voice is like breaking constantly today, by the way. It's really high. I don't know why. We can get a bit silly and think about using our ultimate in this situation. Like, you might think this is a bit too silly, but honestly, I think it gets the job done. Based on where our dominant is, I think the ultimate would have been massive here. And it's like, Juno ultimate is relatively good in compressed spaces, especially when the heroes you're playing also benefit compressed spaces. So what I mean by compressed is they're short sight lines. So it's sort of like a small room compared to long sight lines, which is basically um, not a small room. It's basically a long sight line. I basically described it in the word long sight line. I think Juno Ultimate would have been really, really good there, though. I think you guys could have killed them. But instead, this fight is like, you guys could have lost that realistically, and you didn't really do anything to prevent that. Remember, we want to be proactive with our Juno Ultimate, and I haven't really seen that. Another thing I want to know, actually, and this is an aim concept, it's a concept called trigger discipline. So we actually take an extra second to line up our shots so we don't miss them. So we don't need to be shooting at absolutely nothing right now. You see here, we're just like constantly spamming our shots instead of just taking our time to readjust our crosshair on our Zenyatta. But look at our crosshair right now, and we're filling shooting a complete round, right? So we just need to take an extra second to line up our shots and stop like spamming it, you know? Just be a bit more patient with your aim. I think patience is like a big thing, an overarching theme of your gameplay that we've seen. We just need to be a bit more conservative at times with our aim, with our angles, where we just like go in way, way too aggressive and we like go way into like compressed sight lines where we don't really have the upper hand, you know? Do you think we need our glide boost right now? Remember the functions of glide boost? I included this on one of my TikTok slideshows that you've probably watched. I think you commented on that video asking for help actually. But if you remember the functions of glide boost, what do you think they do? Well, you either escape a dive or danger, which you're not doing right now because there's no danger in front of you. You rotate to a better position, which you're not really doing because you could have got the same equal healing value if you were a bit further back, right? Or you could reset your health. Basically, you can get the passive health regeneration with your glide boost now, which is really, really useful to know. And it makes Juno be able to contest like more aggressive angles, essentially. But we're not doing that because we're full HP. I had one more. Oh yeah, let's swing wide for torpedoes and look for like a big burst in our torpedo value. We're not really going for torpedoes, right? So do you think this glide boost makes a lot of sense? Not really, right? Not really. Yeah, this is a bit sloppy. We're just sort of like hovering in the middle of the open. We just need to commit to a lane. We could even look at this and think about helping our Sojourn on the off angle. Although I think this is okay, and I actually think if I were you, I would play right here. This would have been really, really good. And if we take damage, we can sort of duck behind him. You know, this is just way more risky for no much reward. You know. Again, let's take a second while the fight is delayed. There's no fight really happening to experiment with our space. Maybe we can go left. Maybe we play the high ground. You know. Nice. Yep. Go on the high ground, go on the high ground, go on the high ground. We'll help your Sojourn. Go left, commit to helping your Sojourn. Or go here, commit to helping the rest of your team. You decide, just don't do what you're doing right now, essentially. What do you think is needed in this situation? Which of your cooldowns do you think could benefit this fight? Actually, I think there's another cooldown that could have benefited this fight, which is actually your ultimate as well as your speed ring. What I would do is based on the fact that they want to go in, I maybe would have speed ringed, although I don't think we necessarily need to use the ultimate because they're not really necessarily really doing anything. And I actually think kiting this could have been a better decision in this situation. But we gotta do one or the other. We use our ultimate, but we needed to speed ring earlier. Also, look at where our dominant is and look at where we pop the ultimate. We're all the way back here, but our dominant is there. Do you think our Dominant is going to be able to use his ultimate to shoot these guys? Well, no. And the only one that really benefits from this ultimate is us. We actually had a teammate back here. Who is this? Is this our Anna? That's Ash. She also could have benefited from that if we used that ultimate on her. Or we could have used it on our Domina, but we didn't really use it on anywhere, and it sort of goes to no man's land, right? So we use our ultimate over here, or where our dominant is. Look, I mean, imagine if our dominant had the ultimate right now, she probably would have killed them all, as well as the speed ring, right? This would have been amazing. But we don't really do that because our ultimate goes nowhere. And Juno ultimate is a really, really hard one to predict sometimes because we can't know where our teammates are going to go to. But I think in this specific situation, it was quite predictable for you, and you probably should have known that your teammates were going to migrate that way. And you sort of like, I don't know, it's just not the best ultimate, is what I'm getting at. And we just needed proximity to our teammates so they actually could have benefited from us. Or we can like get a bit silly and like sort of move in the direction of the ultimate if we're going to use it like this because we're not really getting any value from this ultimate, and neither are our teammates. So Juno ultimate is really, really good, and you need to make the most of it. Even if like you might die in this situation, I think it's better than doing this. Again, do we need to be over here right now? Well, no. Right? Our Dominant's the one in the front line. What can we do with that angle right now? We don't have to go here necessarily. Let's think. We've popped our ultimate. It's gone here. The chaos of the fight is over here. Instead of moving towards here, simple fix, we've just been going here and using our cooldowns from this situation. I think that would be really, really beneficial for you. But we don't do that, sadly. We just, again, we're too aggressive. We're too, I was going to be mean and say thoughtless, but I don't think you're thoughtless because there's definitely some deliberate intention with your cooldowns, right? It's like way above average for a silver gamer who's like been playing for a month, so you should definitely be proud of yourself. But I think this can be improved on, you know. What do we think of that speed ring? I think this is a great speed ring. Good job. Honestly, this is really, really excellent. I really, really like this. Yeah, yeah, good job. And we're migrating towards cover. Oh my goodness, you're making me cry. I've got a smile on my face right now. This is really, really good for you. Yeah, yeah, heal our Zen. Maybe go for torpedoes. Team thinks they can 5v1, I guess, or I don't know what that person's on about. I'm guessing you're reading chat right now. This dude complains he can't heal because our positioning where Life Weaver has more than double low. One thing that I want to suggest if you want to improve Overwatch is actually using text chat. Text chat is like such a it just like ruins my mental health personally, and I get so distracted. And I think a big part of improving at any skill and Overwatch as well is just thinking about your gameplay and no one else's. So screw these guys. Honestly, don't worry about them. Just do your own thing. Do your own thing. Mute text chat if you need to. If someone ever says something's rude to you, then they're honestly like a meaningless piece of shit. Like I'm guessing they haven't because this hasn't happened in your game, and they're also like way above average for your rank. Like I don't think you're gonna have a difficult time getting to plat, but I wouldn't worry about like text chat. I would mute it if I were you, honestly. Hmm. What do I think of this speedrun? There is a bit of chaos. That's yeah. I think this is fine, honestly. Maybe like 2 seconds later would have been like a really really good idea, but I think this is fine. The principle's fine. You're directly tying it to action. Good torpedoes. I mean, I understand like we only really hit one person, but I understand the intention of these torpedoes. You know, I think they were good because you know that they're going to be pushing forward because of the timer and they don't have much time left and they're already pushed in aggressively anyway, so it makes sense to go for these. So these are fine. It's just the positioning again is a bit goofy in my opinion, but that's fine. That's fine. It's something we're gonna be able to improve on. Don't get close to the Junkrat, please. Don't get close to the Junkrat. Chill, chill, chill. Yeah, move away, move away. Nice, good job, good job. Nice. That was good for you. I think this is. I'm actually just gonna review this game because I think this is like more than enough, and we've been going on for like an hour. So I think this is like gonna be enough value for you to rank up. So I think this is all you need. Sorry for wasting your time with the other game recordings, but let's summarize on the goals that you need to be working on. I think your torpedoes have looked pretty good actually. Your speed ranks have looked a bit goofy though, and we need to be tying it more directly towards action. And when there's actually something happening in the fight, we need to be more thoughtful with the ultimate and sort of where it's going to end up. What else do we need to do? We need to be more disciplined with our aim, so we're not just firing rounds constantly. We're actually taking a second of our time to line up our target, right? That opportunity cost where we actually end up hitting our shots, right, is what's gonna enable us to have way higher healing numbers. So I think that's really really important. I mean your glide boost has looked okay for the most part, although we need to be more specifically intentional with what we're doing with it again. Again, intention is like one of the biggest things we need to do, and we need to focus on because we're not really like how can I explain this? We're sort of like pressing our buttons for no specific reason sometimes, you know? And we need to be a bit more patient with it. I think that's pretty much it, though. I think you have a lot of potential there, and I can see you like ranking up really, really quick, honestly. Message me on Discord if you have any final questions about like training routines, how much you're playing a day, sort of how to fit in Overwatch with your schedule. Like sort of if you want to learn any more heroes as well, then please let me know. But yeah, have an amazing day, and I hope you learned a lot. Goodbye.